I mean this with all sincerity. And honest to God, I wish I had a white flag to wave it, okay? Because me ain't come for war with y'all. Me ain't come for mock y'all. I need y'all to understand this, all right? I just a girl, I like to understand, okay? And if something is not clear to me, I'm very sincere when I am asking for clarification, right? And I want us to look at all sides and look at the totality of what is transpiring before us, all right? Why y'all so defensive on insisting that the people did not burn down the hotel? I want a serious answer to this, because that video I posted last night, based on a report and an interview by Travis Chase, within minutes, people were commenting on all of the platforms and jumping into my DM to say, the people didn't burn down the hotel. Where I had followers who were actually in Guyana comment on my earlier post when the incident first happened last month, right? Because someone on TikTok said, you must be new to the story, okay? I had someone in Guyana who took part in the rioting. We're gonna call it what it is, okay? Who said, we didn't start it, but we absolutely finished it. The people confessed. The people confessed. So my thing is this. If it was in fact that a police officer started a fire in the room where people are speculating that the crime was actually committed and they saw smoke coming out of the room, why wasn't a larger effort made to contain the fire rather than quite literally pouring fuel onto the fire by burning down the rest of the hotel? I really trying to understand why y'all so vexed about that part. Because a national curfew had to be enforced because the rioting got so bad. Y'all was shooting up the police station, looting the supermarkets, and I never once came and said that y'all were wrong, because I get it. I understand. You were angry. You were betrayed. You wanted answers, rightfully so. All I said was, be prepared for the consequences that now the hotel is no longer there. That's all I said. It's always, as an educator, as someone who is quite fascinated with human behavior, it is always fascinating to me to see people so upset with facts. I need someone to clarify this for me. Because basically what you all are saying is, yes, we did it, but we didn't do that part. It's still an admission to what was done. Okay? This is what I want y'all to understand. I'm trying to stay involved with what matters. I'm not placing blame or saying that you all were wrong. I need you all to understand that. As I said, out of a 6-minute and 25-second video, y'all are focused on the wrong thing. And when I say this, I'm saying this again with all sincerity. I'm not being harsh. I'm just being direct. As is my nature, I don't give a shit who burned down the hotel. It is a piece of property. It can be rebuilt. It's neither here nor there. The hotel is gone. It has been gone for over a month now. What's the plan? Where do we go from here? In order to be solution-based, you have to have the capability to move on and say, this part of it is no longer a factor. Where do we go from here? Okay? That's what I want y'all to do. Stop focusing on things that do not matter, because right now, all this family needs is justice for their little girl. All right, good, I got it.
This video is asking you to just think about it logically. Please, right? Think about it logically. Think about the sequence of events and how it transpired, and you will come to a logical conclusion that one, it was not a one-person job. Two, they were trying to hide or cover something. Right? And I think three specific steps were taken that would allow you to come to this conclusion. The goal of the hotel staff, the owner, the police who were supporting them or who were trying to cover up for them, their goal was just to get Dad off the ground. Dad and whoever was there with him and stood on business and said, I am moving. Their goal was to get Dad off the ground. And three things they did, or three steps they took in trying to satisfy them that she was not here. First, they allowed critics to come in and view the pool, right? To show that for all the people who saying, Sargy pool, da 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 da. Look, we allowed critics to come in. He searched the pool empty. Well, see, I want for we. That was the goal of allowing critics to go in there. It was to, critics doing this kind gesture out of the kindness of his heart to show y'all that the girl is not in the pool. They allowed critics, they ain't allowed the parents, they allowed critics first to go in to show that the pool was clear. Correct? Stay with me. After that, you were supposed to be satisfied. One, the pool was empty. Shane Day. Number two, they released a statement saying a car picture. If Dad had accepted, one, the pool empty, Shane Day in it, and two, that she left with a car and he went home, they would have been able to move that child body from there, just location, transport her body to some other location where she could not be found, or where she would have been found days later, and it would not have been related to them in any way, because we all know how the investigation is going, Guyana. The third thing they did, and I didn't hear anybody address this issue except Jay Uncut, is the random man that they arrested at the Harbor Bridge, and they held him for 12 hours trying to put in his mind, or trying to get him to accept that he picked up a little girl at Tushen at such a time, and he's saying that I have not been in that area for how long. If they had, they didn't even have to get him to accept. We know how they must get statements signed, and I'm saying this as a liar, and I'm saying this, I'm out of the country, I don't care. But it's like they would have gotten, he would have been charged for abduction, he would have been brought before the court, and by the time the matter came to an end, the public would not have been interested in the matter anymore. Mom and Dad would have been following, yes, but the public would not have been, it would have been forgotten, right? And then he would have been exonerated of all charges. Guess why? Because they have no evidence against him. So three things: as long as they would have gotten everybody, especially the parents and whoever was supporting them and was standing in front of them, if they had successfully convinced them to move from that location, that child body would have been successfully transported from that hotel, and the matter would have done. So kudos to the paternal instinct of the father, and he decided that his child was in there and he was not moving. Shout out to Dad for not moving, and whoever was there supporting him. I think an aunt, she was very well spoken, she was very verbose, she was on live all the time, just showing and she was alert. She nothing really passed her. I was on her live for most of the time. I just can't imagine what would have happened had they moved. That's where my mind is. What would have happened had they moved from that location? Because they moved, they couldn't find a way to get the child body out from the location, which I feel was the goal. Listen, I am pregnant. I cry. I proper cried. My husband had to tell me, listen, stop watching them stories. Stop watching them stories now. My belly feels so heavy for the last couple of days. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I felt like they just had to get them off the ground, and they had systems in place that they were trying to convince the public that Shane Day but she was right there.